the queen of Willow Creek Falls. The sound of splashing water jolted me awake. At first, I thought I was dreaming. It was a lazy Sunday morning, and I'd planned to sleep in, but then came the laughter, high-pitched, carefree, and definitely not mine. I groggily reached for my phone on the nightstand, blinking at the time, 11:47 a.m. Pulling back the curtain that faced my backyard, I almost dropped my phone in shock. There, in my private pool, a full-blown party was in progress. Strangers lounged on inflatable floaties, kids cannonballed into the deep end, and a massive Bluetooth speaker blasted music so loud the bass made the glass in my window vibrate. There were folding tables set up with trays of snacks, coolers overflowing with beers, and towels strewn everywhere like some kind of spring break resort. And right at the center of it all, cocktail in hand, sunglasses perched atop her perfectly styled platinum blonde hair, was none other than Cheryl Benson, the self-proclaimed queen of Willow Creek Falls. I knew Cheryl was trouble the moment I moved into the neighborhood. From day one, she acted like she ran the place, enforcing rules that didn't exist and expecting everyone to fall in line with her made-up regulations. She once left a passive-aggressive note on my car windshield because I parked in my own driveway instead of the garage. According to her, it ruined the uniform aesthetic of the community. I'd had more than my fair share of run-ins with Cheryl, but this was next-level insanity. Throwing on a pair of sneakers and a hoodie, I stormed outside, weaving through the chaos and dodging a kid flinging water balloons at another screaming child. As I made my way toward Cheryl, I was nearly knocked over by a man carrying 2 beers and a pool noodle. "What the hell is going on?" I demanded, my voice raised above the thumping bass. Cheryl barely spared me a glance. She sipped her drink with an infuriating level of calm. "Oh, relax," she said, her red-painted lips curving into a smug little smirk. "It's just a friendly community gathering." "Eh, what?" I stared at her, completely incredulous. "In my backyard. In my pool." She waved a dismissive hand like I was being ridiculous. "Oh, don't be so dramatic. It's not like you were using it." I clenched my jaw, struggling to stay calm. "That's not the point, Cheryl. You trespassed onto my property and threw a party without even asking me." Finally, she turned to fully face me. The glint in her eyes told me she was enjoying this far more than she should. "You're part of the Willow Creek Falls HOA, sweetheart. And the HOA has a rule about unused amenities being shared with the community. That's complete garbage, and you know it." I shot back. She shrugged, taking another slow sip. "Come on, Ryan. It's for the good of the neighborhood. We have guests over." I couldn't let them swelter in the heat, could I? I glanced around at the partygoers, people I didn't know, lounging on my patio furniture as if they had every right to be there. A guy in board shorts raised his beer at me in what I assumed was meant to be a friendly toast. Meanwhile, a group of women in oversized sunglasses whispered and giggled, completely oblivious to the fact that they were trespassing. "You have 10 minutes to clear out," I said, forcing my voice to stay level. "Or I'm calling the police." Cheryl's smirk deepened. "Oh, honey, I've got a great relationship with the local officers. They won't lift a finger." My fists clenched at my sides. "Fine. Then I'll handle this my way." She chuckled, lounging back on her chair as if she didn't have a care in the world. "Good luck with that." With that, she turned away, dismissing me in my own damn backyard. I stormed back inside, my mind racing. Cheryl had backed me into a corner, and she knew it. Calling the police would probably amount to nothing, and confronting her directly only played into her hands. If I wanted to win this, I needed to be smart. I had to hit her where it hurt. And then it hit me. The perfect plan. I grabbed my phone and started searching. It didn't take long to find exactly what I was looking for: chlorine-reactive pool dye. Completely harmless, but when poured into a chlorinated pool, it turned the water into a brilliant, radioactive-looking neon green. I placed an express order immediately. By tomorrow, Cheryl's little community gathering was going to be one for the books. The rest of the day, I kept an eye on the party from the window. Cheryl and her guests partied like they owned the place, leaving behind empty beer cans, plastic cups, and greasy chip bags when they finally cleared out just before sunset. I spent the evening cleaning up their mess, my patience wearing thin. But I held on to one thought: tomorrow would be worth it. The next morning, I was up early. The package was on my porch by 9 a.m. The vial of pool dye looked small and unassuming, but I knew it was going to deliver something spectacular. I waited until noon, when the sun was at its peak and Cheryl's second round of guests began arriving. Slipping outside unnoticed, I poured the dye into the pool's filter system and hurried back inside to watch. It was slow at first. The water shifted from crystal blue to a sickly, almost glowing neon green. I barely stifled a laugh when I heard the first screams. "Oh my God, what's happening to the water?" someone shrieked. "Is it toxic?" Another person shouted. Cheryl, lounging by the pool with an air of absolute self-importance, bolted upright. "What the hell?" As the green glow intensified, panic spread. Partygoers scrambled to get out of the pool, slipping and stumbling over each other in the chaos. One guy face-planted into a tray of nachos, while a woman frantically rinsed herself off with my garden hose. I stepped outside, arms crossed. "Oh no," I said, feigning concern. "Looks like the pool's having a chemical imbalance." Cheryl whirled around, her face twisted in fury. "What did you do?" I shrugged. "Well, you said it was a community pool, right? Just doing a little routine maintenance." Her mouth opened and closed wordlessly. Behind her, one of her guests cursed, staring at his now neon green swim trunks in horror. "This is vandalism," Cheryl screeched. "Oh no, Cheryl," I said with a grin. "This is community fun." I could practically see the steam coming out of her ears. But I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. By the next morning, things escalated fast. I received an email from the HOA. Subject line, violation notice, unauthorized chemical use in community pool. I rolled my eyes before opening it. "Dear homeowner, it has come to our attention that you introduced an unauthorized chemical substance into the shared neighborhood pool, creating a hazardous situation for residents. Due to this reckless action, you have been issued a fine of $500. Please remit payment immediately to avoid further consequences. Best, Willow Creek Falls HOA Board." The audacity. First, they broke into my backyard. Now they wanted to fine me? Oh, hell no. I fired back an email within minutes. "Dear HOA, please provide documentation proving that my privately owned pool is considered a shared neighborhood amenity. If the HOA wishes to claim ownership over my property, I will be happy to forward this matter to my attorney. Furthermore, I have extensive video evidence of multiple HOA members, including Cheryl Benson, trespassing on my property without permission. I assume this violation notice was a clerical error and look forward to its prompt removal. Best regards, the actual owner of the pool in question." I hit send and smirked. But I knew Cheryl wouldn't let this slide. And she didn't. That afternoon, she was out on the sidewalk, clipboard in hand, knocking on doors. I watched from my porch as she went door to door, putting on her best concerned neighbor act, gesturing toward my house like I was some kind of public menace. Some neighbors nodded along. Some rolled their eyes. A few shrugged, clearly uninterested. By the time she made it to my house, I was ready. "Ryan," she said curtly, "I've spoken with multiple homeowners who agree your behavior violates community standards." I raised an eyebrow. "You mean the community standard about not trespassing? Or the one about not throwing unauthorized parties in someone else's backyard?" Her nostrils flared. "We're proposing an emergency HOA amendment to allow reasonable community use of underutilized private amenities." I laughed. "So, legalized theft. It's about fostering community spirit," she snapped. "About fairness. No one is going to vote for this, Cheryl." "Oh, I think they will." I spent the evening rallying my own support. I knocked on doors, speaking to neighbors who had also suffered under Cheryl's reign. It didn't take long to gather stories. "She tried to fine me for my mailbox color," one neighbor said. "She measured my lawn with a ruler," another groaned. "By the time I finished, I had an army. And then I found something else, a loophole. Cheryl wasn't even a homeowner. She was renting, which meant she wasn't legally allowed to sit on the HOA board." At the next meeting, I came prepared. And when Cheryl proposed her ridiculous rule change, I shut it down hard. "Cheryl isn't a homeowner," I said, handing rental documents to the HOA president. "She's not eligible for the board. She never was." The room erupted. Neighbors who had suffered silently finally spoke up, detailing her harassment, her bogus citations, and her power trips. By the end of the night, Cheryl was removed from the board. Permanently. And since she wasn't a homeowner, she couldn't fight it. A week later, a for rent sign appeared in Cheryl's yard. Her landlord, unwilling to deal with potential lawsuits, had evicted her. The Queen of Willow Creek Falls was dethroned. And the neighborhood? It finally felt like home. I threw a pool party to celebrate. Everyone was invited, except Cheryl. And yes, I served neon green punch.